what's up, guys, and welcome to episode 9 of Mr. Millennial's Revenge. I'm your host, Nick DeMaria. Thanks for tuning in. So today on this episode, talked to one of my great buddies. I know I say that every episode, but I really mean it. Talked to one of my great buddies, dear friend, longtime collaborator, drummer, and good buddy, as always, Mr. Eric Hallenbeck joined me on the show. So it turns out I had COVID-19 while I did this interview. It's been a very surreal experience. I'm doing better now. I have gotten my sense of taste, my sense of smell back, which has been really, nice. Quarantine during Thanksgiving, definitely infected, prior to that. So if I sound a little out of it, if I sound a little disinterested in this show's interview, it's because I had yet to find out that I had COVID. I was experiencing some symptoms that were totally consistent with my allergies. It's so weird. I have fall allergies, and I did some yard work. I used my new leaf blower, and normally, in the past when I've done that kind of thing with my dad, when my brothers at my parents' house when I was living at home, I would be knocked the fuck out afterwards. Same thing happens to my mom. She literally has to stay in the house when we do, fall yard work. So everything pointed to my allergies were kicking in. And then it just, turned into like what felt like a cold. And then I got news that I was probably exposed. So got a test, found out after the interview my results. So guys, I dodged a bullet. It could have been a lot worse, according to the research my wife and I did. If you lose your sense of taste and smell, it's actually a sign that you're not going to get the version of the virus that grossly affects your respiratory system. So I feel like we were really lucky. And I'm so grateful that we could be on the mend. I was cleared from quarantine actually yesterday. So, it's a scary experience. And I know at the end of the day, my wife and I are two very healthy people who were doing everything right. I mean, I'll get into that rant in a second. But, we're two very healthy people. No underlying conditions, and it knocked us on our butt, man. And knowing that it could have been worse, it just kind of makes you realize that this virus is a fucking menace. It really is. And just to rant a little bit, we wear masks all the time. We wear them. We probably got infected by someone in our circle who was asymptomatic when we saw them. It sucks, dude. It sucks. We had to spend Thanksgiving alone together, which, could be worse, of course. But it was really sad. My mom made us Thanksgiving dinner, and you couldn't taste it, which was just, really tough on the emotional toll the virus takes on you when you get it, Again, I can't stress enough how grateful I am that I did not get the form of the virus that puts you in the hospital, puts you on a respirator. That aside, it is still not fun. So guys, please wear your masks. Wash your hands vigilantly. This motherfucker is not something to fucking play around with. It's a very sombering experience. So, please keep that in mind when you listen to the interview. I feel like I wasn't in the mood to put out this episode. I felt bad. We kept losing our internet connection, and it was just, I feel like the episode could do a lot better. So, thank you to Eric. I definitely want to have him on again, and hopefully under better circumstances where I could have him in the studio, and do it live like I did. I've done one episode with the person with me, and that was episode 2. And again, that's because that person, Jared Caddy, has been part of my circle. That's like, and it was still like really warm out, It was before it got bad, bad again. So look, guys, be safe. Take care of each other. Be vigilant. This motherfucker, I can't stress enough, is sneaky. It's a sneaky little bastard. Again, we are two very healthy people, and we got it good, So, so I just wanted to kind of be open about that. I feel like, I was like, should I tell the audience that I had COVID? But like, part of me is like, look, I had it, I survived it. I'm not trying to be a martyr, but I think it definitely is important to get the information out there, because there are all these fucking lunatics who think that the virus is not real. They don't wear masks. They don't do any social distancing. They don't follow any rules. And that's why, like, we're about to have like a terrible winter. So please, guys, take care of yourselves. Again, my wife and I are doing okay. Our family's doing okay. We're very grateful for how we were able to get through it, but please take this seriously. Take the precautions necessary, and be safe out there. So, so to Eric, we'll have you back soon, buddy. I had a great time talking to you, but I feel like you didn't get Nick 100%. So we'll definitely have him back on the show. So I hope you enjoy that episode, that interview. Time for the housekeeping. Mr. Millennial's Revenge is a production of the New Haven Jazz Underground, which is a grassroots community-based organization dedicated to clinics, jam sessions, and concerts and festivals in New Haven, Connecticut. We are completely funded by individual contributions. And, of course, you could be one of those contributors that donates so little, yet it goes so far. So if you want to be a financial supporter of the NHJU, you go to patreon.com/NHVJU. You could sign up for as low as $2, and then Patreon takes care of the rest. It's like a deduction from your debit card or bank account. You don't even notice it's gone, especially if it's the $2 level. And we could still have our Mind the Hang series and bank up the money, so when things are safe again, we can have the festival we were supposed to have this past year. So please consider becoming a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/NHVJU. So it's that time of year where Spotify is telling everybody, how many songs they streamed, how many they listened to, their top artists, their top songs. I am the first to admit I am guilty of checking out my stats and looking forward to it every year. But let me just take this time to remind you that Spotify is full of shit. We all know that. Average pay per stream is like 0.003 of a penny or something. Guys, it's the holiday season amongst us. We're in the COVID winter. Take the time to support the artists you love. Go to Bandcamp. I find that Bandcamp is a very, it's an opposite situation than Spotify. I feel very good after I've purchased an album on Bandcamp, because what's cool about Bandcamp is they've really updated their app. Again, I don't work for Bandcamp, so please keep that in mind. This is just my honest opinion. But as an artist and a consumer on Bandcamp, I could say that it is way more fulfilling to purchase an album, have the streaming access, because that's like, at this point, despite the fact I own hundreds of CDs, way too many records, I like being able to listen to any one of the albums in my collection at any time. So I like that streaming part. It's funny, Jeremy Pelt, who is my favorite modern trumpet player, he actually didn't even show up in my Spotify top artists, because when I listen to him on like the iTunes app, because I buy all his albums. So I could still stream his stuff, and when I'm in the mood for Jeremy Pelt, right, I can listen to any one of his records, but it's through Apple because I paid for it. I rarely listen to him on Spotify, and it showed in my stats because he was like not in the top 5. So back to Bandcamp, it's kind of the same thing. I'm a big Dave Douglas fan. I've bought a bunch of his stuff on Bandcamp, and it's accessible through the app, but then you can download the tracks, so you can always have them backed up. And then in a lot of cases with Bandcamp, you get a physical copy as well. So I'll use Dave as an example again. I just bought one of his albums. I think it was called Pathways. It's a sextet album. A physical copy is coming to the house. I have the ability to stream it whenever I want through the Bandcamp app. And I have downloadable tracks that I can listen to, whatever, whenever I want. That is the proper way to support the artists that you care about. So as someone who's on Bandcamp, like myself, I would appreciate it. I always seem to make money on Bandcamp sales, whereas with iTunes, not so much. So even though it's fun to check out our stats and to see which songs we listen to on repeat and all that stuff, it is so much more important, especially in this time where artists are struggling, that we financially support them. So please go on Bandcamp or whatever you use, support the artists you love, and let's help each other out, especially during this fucking ninth wave of COVID. And just to be fully honest, any purchases of my albums will go to the New Haven Jazz Underground sock drive that we will be raising money for shortly. Stick around on social media for that. Facebook.com/NHVJU and Instagram NHV_underground or Jazz Underground, something like that. You'll find us if you search. We're still having our Mind the Hang series, and we'll be doing our annual sock drive through GoFundMe this year, and we'll buy some packs of socks for needy families in New Haven. So today is December 2nd. It's actually my birthday, but this is not the birthday episode. I already recorded that. Go listen to that episode first before you listen to this one. But unfortunately, today, shifting all the attention from myself, R.I.P. the Jazz Standard. I found out today, as we all did, that the Jazz Standard will not be opening its doors in 2021 or anytime thereafter. It's officially closing. It's devastating to hear that news. I've always had a real attachment to the Jazz Standard. The first big reason is that was when I met Jeremy Pelt. I went to a gig that was Jeremy, Eddie Henderson, and Dave Douglas. Literally my holy trinity of trumpet players were playing on the same gig. So I went down. I went by myself. I'm like, I don't know, 23 probably, and sat like basically in front and watched all the sets I could. And during one of the set breaks, I went up and talked to Eddie and all that stuff. And I told him how much of a fan I was of the band, and he said, "Well, do you want to meet Jeremy and Dave?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I went over to the bar, and sitting there was Jeremy. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it was Dave, Eddie, me, Jeremy. And Eddie introduced me to both. I'm totally starstruck. I had just discovered Jeremy maybe like 2 weeks or 2 months prior. It was around the time I had just discovered him, within a year, we'll say. Been a huge fan of Dave since high school. Got to meet Dave. Dave went off and had a conversation with somebody pretty soon. Talked to Eddie for a while, and then I think Eddie's wife, Natsuko, showed up, so he walked away. And so I found myself, I don't know if Jeremy remembers this, but this is how I remember it. Jeremy and I were sitting at the bar together, and I had no idea what to say because I was like, holy shit, like I'm next to somebody I really admire. And if memory serves me correct, Jeremy was the one who broke the silence, and he said something like, "So you play horn, huh?" Or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a student of Eddie's." And he said, "There's no one better to learn from." So I'm pretty sure that that's how the conversation went. Regardless, it was the beginning of a friendship that I am eternally grateful for. Jeremy and I have been friends ever since. I've been lucky enough to take some lessons with him. I think his playing style is remarkable. His compositional style is amazing, and he's a true individual in the music. And it really started our friendship really started that right there. So thank you to the Jazz Standard for being the place where that happened. You know what I mean? And then the other time is a collective. So when I was younger, in my 20s, I really didn't have any friends who were into the same music as me, as much. Most of my musical friends in college and colleagues were rhythm section players. I really had no trumpet playing friends, or the only horn playing friends I had in college were saxophonists, and it was just the makeup of the student body. It wasn't anything personal. There just were not enough of us, and so I would go to the Jazz Standard to see Dave Douglas every chance I got. I would drive down or take the train down alone. I would spend, what did they do? 2 sets a night, 3 sets a night, something like that. I would spend them all there, have dinner. Most of my early credit card debt is based on going to the Jazz Standard by myself. And I was there in the audience when Dave's quintet recorded their week-long album. Live at the Jazz Standard, whatever. I can't remember what days I'm on anymore. I was there when Dave recorded with Keystone, again, like a 4 or 5 day run. I'm pretty sure I was there on April 10th or 11th. I'm pretty sure I could hear myself yelling in one of the end of the song, during the applause. And then I was also there when Dave brought in Brass Ecstasy for the same thing. I don't think they recorded as many days, but they definitely recorded that night. I was there for all of those, and Dave's music has been very influential on me. It has been a huge part of my early development as a jazz musician. And one thing I love about these 3 trumpet players, Dave, Eddie, and Jeremy, is that they're all individuals. They're all dedicated to how they perceive the music, how they want to present it to the world, and that has been so influential to me since day one. So to the Jazz Standard, you will be hugely, gigantically, humongously missed, and the entire jazz community is at a loss, and it's another casualty of COVID is this club closing. So I doubt anyone from the Jazz Standard will ever listen to this show, but if they do, I just want you to know that there were many a nights where I braved the elements or traffic or my empty bank account to watch a show, usually alone, and I am super, super grateful for its existence, and I wish the owners and everyone involved the best of luck, and hopefully somebody opens something related, whether the Jazz Standard reopens sometime in the future, or the owners open a different club somewhere else, or somebody opens a new club in the old space, whatever. I just hope that it's not the end of the spirit of the Jazz Standard. And fuck, man, I remember having a great fucking chicken Caesar salad there every time, and those fucking fries, man. Ugh. Anyway, you will be missed, Jazz Standard. So thank you so much for all of the wonderful music. All right, so let's get to the interview. Eric Hallenbeck and I go way back. How back? Well, he was like 13 when I met him. No, just kidding. He was probably 19. He was the drummer in my quartet when I recorded the album Time Circuit. That album is pretty important to me because it was when I kind of embraced my compositional style. I feel like I figured out what my music is supposed to sound like on that album. And he was in the band with me, Andrew Kasiba on keyboards and piano, and Andrew Zwart on bass. And we were a working group from 2013 to 2017, playing shows everywhere and anywhere. And it's one of, I think it's my first great band, to be honest with you. I know that sounds so fucking lame, but if one day I'm going to look back on my career, and one of my favorite bands is going to be the Time Circuit Band. My Electric Pursuits would not exist without this band and their contributions to my music. So I've known Eric for a long time. I've known him since he's been a little pup. He has graduated from the Hart School of Music and moved to New York City, where he seems to be working every fucking day. I'm incredibly proud of him. I am incredibly honored to call him a friend and a colleague. And we I'm sure we'll record and play together again when all this is over. If you want to hear some albums, let me say this. Eric was on Time Circuit, and he was also on Bomb Shelter Music, which is a live record. If you want to hear the intensity of Eric Hallenbeck's playing, check out Bomb Shelter Music. It's streaming everywhere, or buy it on Bandcamp. Bandcamp. Anyway, yeah, Eric's a big goofball, big fucking dummy. I love him to death. I love him like a big little brother. We spent a lot of time in the car driving to New York for gigs. He played with me regularly at my residency at Juke Bar in the East Village, and anytime I played in the city. There was a bar called like Why Not Jazz Room or something. I think that's what it was called. We played together there a lot. And obviously the Shrine and Sylvana and, you know, those uptown clubs and all that stuff and everything else in between. Anyway, Eric is the kind of drummer a musician, a horn player loves. Eric knows tunes. He knows melodies. He knows solos. So many times we'd be in the car in traffic on the Hutch or the FDR, and we're just listening to a classic Blue Note album, one after another, and he would sing the fucking solos the entire time. Some of the best times of my life, to be honest with you. So I'm really grateful. I mentioned to Eric earlier before the episode that I found out that I wasn't feeling well. So he has no idea during the interview, as I didn't. So again, if I don't sound like myself, please be forgiving. I was dealing with COVID-19. Anyway, please check out my interview with drummer Eric Hallenbeck. And joining me now is my good buddy Eric Hallenbeck. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so well, man. I'm keeping this energy going throughout this whole podcast.
Oh, as I'm not. Definitely. I wouldn't deny otherwise, but our connection seems to be working fine now. So thank God.
Yay!
We fixed that. Yeah. We were having connection issues. This is our fourth attempt at this interview, but we were going to make it happen. So
we're making it happen.
Yeah, we are doing it up. So where you broadcasting from? You had moved, right? Are you in Brooklyn now? Used to be.
Yeah, I'm broadcasting from Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Okay, and that's how long you been there? Because you were up in Harlem for a while, right?
Yeah, I was bouncing around uptown for a little bit, but I've been living in this spot in Flatbush since September of 2019.
Okay, so right before the end of the world, because we were before we were trying to figure out the last time we saw each other, but we're coming up on a year of physically the last time we saw each other, which was this Cafe 9 gig that you were on. My band was on. I had talked about it with Rose previously, so this gig is like a mark for like the last time I've seen some people, and that's kind of sad because like that had nothing to do with COVID yet. I can't even blame COVID for that one.
Yeah.
So and I'm trying to look on the calendar. I only have the details for my band.
No.
So I don't even remember. There was another group, right? We're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, there was another group. I don't really remember who it was. Maybe I'm sure we can find like a flyer or a Facebook event or something.
Yeah, I feel so. Whoever consists of this other band, this mystery band, I apologize already to the them for not being
sorry.
able. Yes, for completely forgetting them. But it sucks, man. That it's already been a year. For some of these, people who have seen each other all the time or pretty semi-regularly, now we haven't seen each other at all. So, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see your face. It's been a long time, especially for so many years. You and I drove to so many gigs together. Spent a lot of time in the car. Man. Yeah, spent a lot of time in the car. I have to say though, Eric, don't be disappointed, but I'm actually a year smoke free now. Those long So this is nothing to brag about, but I have no regrets in life. But you and I would pound some bogeys and listen to some classic Blue Note on the Hutch
Man,
Parkway,
you showed me,
Sawmill
you showed
Parkway.
me, you showed me so many like records that, like I remember, like I'm pretty sure like you showed me like Unity.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
crazy classics that I had. I mean, yeah, I was like 18 or 19. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, let's back it up for everybody. So, in case you didn't know, Eric and I have known each other for quite some time. Going back is I think we met in what 2013.
Yeah,
Our,
yeah.
our our good buddy
20,
Mike Dick.
20.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out to Mike
yeah.
Dick.
Mike Dick, man. I was just talking to him a couple of months ago. Because
Oh yeah?
yeah, I had like a Facebook memory pop up, and it was a gig with that he was on, and I was like, oh my god, talk about
Oh man.
not talking to somebody forever. So I reached out to him, and yeah, he's doing well, but he introduced you to me and me to you, and because he was going to NEC, and I needed
Yeah.
someone to fill his slot in the band, and that's where it all began, Eric. It all began as a recommendation.
So long ago.
So you never know, kids. You never know who's who's recommending you for whatever nefarious situations you may be put into. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
no,
I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday.
I know it's legit, almost pushing a decade almost at this point. But yeah, it's funny. I remember the first album we fanboyed over together was Mode for Joe, because like that was like
Oh
because that's
yeah.
always been my favorite. So I
Oh
I
yeah.
remember
So good.
I remember talking to you about that one. But Unity, that's funny. For some reason, whenever I think about you or our car rides to gigs, I always think about No Room for Squares. But
Oh.
I don't think we listened to that much, and no more than any other record. But for some reason, that's the one that stands out when I think about
Yeah, that
like uh, uh, um, commuting to gigs with you.
yeah, well, you know that record was like one of the first records that I like really really dug into, like listened to it like all day every day, like learned every solo, like every ounce of comping, like when I was like in college. That was like one of the
Yeah,
first like records that I like really 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 sunk my teeth to.
that's Philly Joe the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Andrew
yeah,
and Andrew Hill
right. Yeah. So
and Herbie is on some of it too.
Herbie's on a little bit of it, I think, because I know it's Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan
And Lee
switch back
Morgan.
and forth. Yeah, so it's one of those albums that's comprised of sessions, like the Turnaround is like that, and then a
Right,
couple of
right,
Jackie
exactly.
McLean albums are like that, where you've
Hmm.
got like different kinds of bands. It's sometimes that's so confusing because I'm already bad with track names as it is, and so
Yeah, right. I know.
I can at least remember the lineup, but then when there's these records that have like multiple lineups, I'm like, God damn it, I can't. Who's on this one? Who's on this one? But
I know.
yeah, no, I remember yeah, a lot of like late night drives back, throwing on the classic Blue Note,
Oh yeah,
and
always.
over the years, but
And what I always dug was like, we would always get like actual like CDs. Remember, like we would meet up at your
oh yeah,
apartment and we would like go through the stack and we get
yep,
like five like actual discs. We would
yeah,
like pop them in and listen to them, which
yeah,
I always
yeah.
I always really dug doing that.
Well, it definitely like committed for sure, because
Hmm.
it committed the drive, because it wasn't like with streaming now you can queue up track after track after track, and you could zigzag and go down rabbit holes and stuff. But back then, yeah, we kind of stuck to no, we're gonna listen to like these three discs on the way
Right.
down and on the way back. And that was like the only thing we were going to listen to. And yeah, man, so much listening. And
Oh, a ton.
what I always appreciated was you would sing all these solos, and and I'm like, man, this no, like it, a drummer who like can sing a sax solo, that's pretty hip. I'm not, I'm not gonna not shout out that
I know.
research
I'm
that you
I'm
did.
I'm notorious for that. Everyone always like gets on me for doing that.
No, but I mean, they get on you probably because you know the solos more than they do, and they probably play that instrument, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always just loved like, like I feel like that's always just been the best way to, understand what someone is trying to say on a track.
Sure.
Is and then when you play it, because a lot of these, songs are standards or compositions that have become standards.
Yeah, the classic literature.
Yeah, so it's like, I think like one of the first steps to learning some of these tunes is like, okay, like, what do the Cats play like the first time they ever played the song, because most of the time is like, some of these cats come into the studio and like threw a napkin on the piano and they're like, yo, let's play this. Ready? And that was the take.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we're like, got like I Real B. We're like, oh, what are the changes?
Oh, I know. It's
you know what I mean? Like back then it was like, oh, yeah, here's ESP. Ready?
Yeah, it's funny how I Real Book has like definitely changed. Definitely the jam session attitude, because I'm a little older than you, and I feel like you also come from an era where like if you knew the tune. Or if you didn't know the tune, you couldn't play on the jam session. But now with I Real Book, you see motherfuckers like they open it up and they put it on the floor and they stay up on stage, because they can like and it's such a cheat. It's turned into Game Genie.
Yeah, I mean it's like the thing is like the problem with that is like I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. But it's like you're not learning the tune, really.
No,
like,
you're just getting through it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you're just getting through it, and like I do understand that like sometimes that's necessary, but also like what, like it's not gonna be the worst thing in the whole world if you like sit out a tune that you don't know at a jam session.
Yeah, well, I mean? that's then, like
learn it next time because.
That goes.
You know
that goes.
Like, I mean, I definitely know. Like I've played gigs with people, obviously who will remain nameless, but like like it'll be like my third or fourth gig with them, and then like they're like reading I'll Remember April on I Real B again for the fourth time. Like,
yeah.
Like one thing that I've like always really tried to do for my whole career is like. Try to never get a tune called on me twice.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this several times.
So like,
yep.
Yeah, it's like someone calls a tune like, okay, like I don't know it. Someone's like, okay, like this is the form, like here's the bridge, like bridge goes to this, this, and this. Like it's got this extra 4 bars at the end. I'm like, all right, cool. Get through it on the bandstand. And then like you just learn it.
Yeah.
And that's how like that's always been I think like a good way to kind of build your rep rather than like sitting down and being like, oh, like what tunes like am I gonna learn today? It's like try to make it like because then like you spend like 3 days working on like whatever, like someone's solo on something, and then you go to the jam session, someone's like, oh hey, let's play Joy Spring, and you're like, oh cool, like I don't know, and I just like spent a whole week like learning this like other tune, what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot to unpack there. First off, like I think cats need to learn that it's okay not to play on every fucking tune at the jam session. When 3 Sheets was at its peak, dude, I would get on, if I was lucky, I'd get on 2 tunes the entire night because everybody had to play on every single song. And there were I didn't want to curb any kind of vibe. You know what I mean? I didn't want to curb anything and be like, look, let's only have, but you would literally have like 38-minute versions of What Is This Thing Called Love. And not that I don't love that tune, but like, holy shit, because everybody knows it, and that goes with like the fact that nobody was calling anything different. We were, I was toying with it right before shutdown. I was toying with the idea of like having, the first hour is going to be like this group of tunes, or just having the tunes posted ahead of time. But that required a little bit more regulation, and people were like kind of giving me the attitude that it's a little too strict, and you don't want, but like sometimes I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was gonna say, like, I agree with that, and I've always thought, and there's one jam session that I've ever been to in my whole life that did that.
Yeah.
And it was Mark Carey's session at the Harlem Sessions,
That's the one up at
you know, and
Smoke?
so yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it used to be at this club called Gin Fizz,
Oh,
and then it
right.
moved
Yeah.
to yeah, and then it moved to Smoke. But he had like a menu of tunes,
Mhm.
you know, and I always thought that was because like it encourages like cast to learn new tunes. So it's like, okay, like you want to come to this jam session, like, you know, learn these tunes, and then
Yeah.
that way, like, and then you don't have cats up on the band, so like, oh, what do you want to play? Oh, I don't know, what do you want to play? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know, you want to play? Oh, do you want to play blues? Oh, yeah, okay. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
like, oh, like let's play, um, you know, these tunes. So I always thought that was like a great idea, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, jam sessions are gonna be like what they're gonna be.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
they have their place in
Yeah.
our lives.
Oh, of course, and it's funny. Yeah, Mike Carabello told me about Mark Carey's like little menu of tunes, and
Yeah.
it was actually Mike I was kind of talking to. We were about to have a three sheets jam where we were going to implement it just once, just to see what would happen, and
Test the
but
waters.
then COVID hit. It was like literally we're talking like late February. I came up with this list of
Mm.
tunes, and you know, nothing to throw any wrenches, you know, in the gears. It was like a Horse Silver tune was thrown in there that wasn't Song for My Father, you know, which is like not unreasonable. Or I think a Coltrane, maybe like Moments Notice was thrown in too, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna post it like 2 weeks before the session, you know,
Yeah.
and we had like graphics for it and everything, and it was just to motivate people to just learn some new tunes and try and change it up. And then the other thing that you brought up is like nobody wants to spend all this time learning tunes and then none of them are called at the session. That is shitty, but I feel like that's like
Yeah.
kind of you just got to fucking deal with it. Like you know, if
Yeah.
you know, cuz it's not that any of the tunes, because I'm trying to think of like a situation where it happened to me specifically, and it's like none of the tunes I learned that nobody else knew were tuned. You know, what am I saying? The tunes I had ready to go were completely legitimate jazz repertoire tunes, jazz standards. It's just that these
Right.
other complete legitimate jazz standards were also called, and I didn't know those tunes. You know, it's
Right.
like you're on stage,
Yeah.
you're on stage, and you're like, oh, you want to play like How High the Moon, and the other cat goes, oh, I don't know that. Do you know September in the Rain? And you go, I don't, because I learned How High the Moon. It's just the way it
The
is. Like
eternal battle.
yeah, it is. It's just the way things are, and you just had to accept it. But yeah, instead, motherfuckers pull out the iReal and they put it strategically down, you know, where they could see it, and then they
Right.
and then they try to get through the tune. But
Yeah. And
you know,
like also like, you know, like that's not all it's not always like 100% correct. The I
oh
real
yeah,
D, you know
oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yep.
Like there's like so like then, you know, like some cats trying to play, and I don't know.
No, I
I
hear you.
mean,
I try.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I try to point out discrepancies I'm aware of only if I'm aware of them. You know, I'm trying to think because I
Yeah.
was I was on a
Well, that's
gig.
like
I was on a gig where I knew I was, it was a duo gig, and the guitarist, I can't remember who it was, but they pulled up the tune on iReal, and I remember specifically where where the iReal was wrong, and I was like, oh, see this chord, it's supposed to be this, and luckily it's not
yeah.
too terrible, you know, but it's better than like the way the real book used to be. Like I remember you would like when I was a freshman in college, this is like the early O's, you know, you're trying to learn the tune. You're trying to get yourself familiar with the tune. So like you're desperate to learn, it's your 19-year-old ears. You're desperate to like learn everything. So you're like, okay, so you got the the illegal version of the real book, and you're like listening to the track and you're trying to make sure like which chords are right and which chords are wrong, and none of the chords look correct. I think like I think in the old like illegal real book, for the tune "So What," somebody had whoever transcribed it into the real book had put like Bill Evans's voicings as chord changes in "So What." So you've got like all these like slash chords, and and you're like, wait, I thought this tune was in D minor, and it's all these like upper extension slash chords, and it's because some motherfucker just like wrote out what Bill Evans plays in the when he's comping, right, and you're fucked because, but like, part of that, like I'm so forgiving of that because this music is not easy, and then I'm not going to fault somebody for trying to make it easier for themselves,
No, of course not. Of course not.
So, but moving on, you have been very busy during this COVID era. I think like you've been playing a lot outside, huh? It seems like there's not a what am I trying to say? You've been working a lot like in the parks, right?
Yeah. But busking in the parks has definitely proven to be very fruitful.
Yeah.
I think just if anything, it just really shows like how much people miss live music.
Sure.
But it's been really nice. We've kind of been able to cultivate that environment, but like kind of like on our own terms. It's like it's kind of nice because it's like all the good parts of a gig, but like without like any of the bad parts. Like we can just like wear whatever we want, like take a 45-minute break and go get some Mamoons. Like who cares?
Yeah.
But actually, this is actually.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
How do you book those or you just pick a spot in the park? I don't know how it works. I'm legit asking because I've seen your Instagram and you'll be like broadcasting from one part of the park and then I'll look at another musician and he's also gigging in Washington Square Park and it's like, what do you just like fight over territory or it's like,
yeah, like essentially, I mean, like I want to say at this point, I'm like more or less pretty cool, with everyone who plays there.
mm-hmm.
'Cause I think we kind of all have we all kind of have a mutual understanding that like, busking in the park is like pretty much the only gig in town, really.
Right.
But yeah, so we just try to like get there early, and
It's
get
like the
a spot. Yeah, and like you try not to like be, in another band's space, because that's just going to be worse for both of you. You're both just going to make less money if there's two bands that are
right
that are close.
Right. So okay. So essentially it's like a day at the beach. You get there early, you find your spot and you just stay there all day long.
Yeah.
And put your wallet in your shoes and
yeah, exactly. But
do your
it's
thing.
Yeah, but it's really nice. We can make a whole day of it. Like, we bring like some food and some drinks and we bring like a bunch of stuff and we just kind of hang and like make some money and it's a good time. Like, unfortunately it's kind of getting a little colder now, so our days are probably numbered.
Yeah. I feel like
getting
people,
out there, but
yeah, people are going to they're going to push until it's like literally snowing, I think, before before they give up, or it's just like the wind is too much.
Definitely.
Oh no, are you there?
I was out there. What? Oh yeah, I'm here. Okay. Oh, we have problems?
No, yeah, but you're back. So let's we're gonna power through this.
Yeah. Yeah, we were out there last weekend, and it was nice. It was like 65, sunny. It's pretty chill.
Yeah,
but I'm sure those days are gonna be few and far between soon.
Yeah, luckily with climate change, the warm fall weather has lasted a lot longer than it's supposed to. So that's definitely
I know,
helped.
like, yeah, I mean, I feel bad about it because, like, the planet is dying, but
Yeah.
it is nice to have like some 70-degree. I'm just gonna grab some more coffee real quick.
Word. Oh, good. Good to have you back.
Thanks,
So,
man. Sorry,
while
I
you, no,
needed
it's all
to
right.
re-up.
So we're gonna just remind the listeners that we're having connection problems, but we're not gonna let it stop us. So there is a delay. That's why we keep talking over each other, because there seems to be like a 1.5 second delay. But we're making it happen. This interview will go on, no doubt. No, I know what you're talking about, man, because like I do I do busking work for Yale, which is kind of strange. It's kind of strange because they pay me to busk, but
Hmm.
but it's it's nice to have work in this literal COVID climate that we have. So
Yeah.
Yale has like these 3 locations, and they're 4 hours long. So obviously I can't do them all every time. So I can give out work
Yeah.
to other horn players and stuff. And for the holiday
Nice.
season, it's coming up. We did it last year, and we're doing it again this year.
Nice.
I know last year, they've changed the gig times around a little bit, but last year, uh, the second half of the gig was definitely after the sun had gone behind the buildings downtown, and it was like freezing. And that last hour was always super tough, and you're like
Yeah.
trying not to freeze your ass off, and and now it being the only gig I've got, it might not be as much of a big
Yeah.
deal because it's like there's nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, well, I actually just got back from a tour, believe it or not,
Yeah, I saw that you
like
went
2 days
somewhere.
ago. Yeah, to Southern California.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that was
Tell me about it.
that was like a nice. It was really great, man. Like, we had like a couple gigs. We did one live gig outside, like mask, social distance, of course, staying as safe and healthy as possible. And that was like really great. Like, we sold a bunch of tickets, made a lot of money. That was really fun. And then we did like 2 live streaming gigs, one from a studio in San Diego, and then one from the Merc Jazz Club in Temecula, which is like halfway between LA and San Diego.
Okay.
And then we recorded a record of all original music.
Oh, nice. Any of your own tunes or just the leaders?
Yeah, one of my own. Yeah,
Oh,
one of my own
nice.
tunes actually.
Oh, that's super cool.
It was the leader was. Yeah, he was nice enough to let me put one of my joints on the record. So
Oh, that's super cool, man.
I was yeah, so it was really nice. It was like it was like a feeling of like normalcy, even though, things are definitely not
Right.
normal,
Right. Um,
as I say.
yeah. No, that's really awesome to hear. I've been talking to a bunch of people on the show about how there's going to be shitloads of albums coming out next year because
Yeah.
everybody, so many people have turned to recording. I actually have 2 sessions coming up in the next few weeks,
Woo!
because of the same thing. Like, there's been nothing to do but write, and I
Yeah.
got I got pretty efficient at writing using software, which was new for me. I was always a pen and paper kind of guy, but you know
Yeah, I remember you always had your
yeah
handwritten charts.
yeah. But still doing the handwritten charts. However, getting the ideas out using GarageBand and stuff, it's been,
Yeah.
it's I've been able to be a little bit more productive than usual, which is nice, and especially because
Yeah.
there's nothing else going on. It's the only thing that's keeping me sane. So, figure,
Yeah.
one thing to show, the final fuck you to 2020 is, well, I'm gonna record some music, motherfucker. So there's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
stop me with that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, the same kind of thing that we were doing.
It's funny. I was on a record back in October at Firehouse 12, and I've said this before on the show, but like the isolation booths have their own air system, so I was actually safer recording than like in most gig environments at the same time or during that time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is, in this day and age. So you just gotta like roll with the punches,
I mean, I'm still, and I don't know, maybe people will blast me for this, but like I'm still an advocate that I believe that we can safely have live music events,
mm-hmm.
And for some reason people don't really think we can, but we can do a lot of other things, that, maybe are more or less dangerous, but
yeah, no, it's super frustrating, man. Like you want people to, you certainly don't want your neighborhood's businesses and your town's businesses to like fucking shutter, and you don't want to see people lose their jobs. It's probably I'm of the thinking that is probably possible, but we have fucked this shit up so badly that
we really
it's too late for that in a way. I know that's so doom and gloom, but it's like I think if more people just did the fucking decent thing of wearing a mask and stuff, we wouldn't have the huge spikes we're having. So it sucks in that regard, but I definitely see your perspective of things. It's just like I feel like it's too far gone at this point, man, because like now with everything going on, it's even worse, and I was just talking about in the last episode, this is the third great quintet of COVID. This is the third wave revival, and it's like it's fucking nuts, dude. That
it's crazy.
We're still dealing with this.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you're 100% correct, and so I think everyone's really trying to just do the best they can. I started renting a pretty nice practice studio, and so I've been spending a lot of my days there. Like it has like a drum set, a bass, and a piano there. So
oh, nice.
I've just been kind of like locking myself in there most days and just trying to take this time, because like I like never have had time. I haven't had time to practice like this since like I was like in undergrad.
Oh yeah. I mean, I keep saying that is I've been practicing shit that I haven't had the time to practice in forever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's been like
I've done more transcribing this summer than I did in the last like 5 years total. And it's just like because there's nothing.
Right, that's what I mean.
There's nothing else to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like at first I was definitely feeling unmotivated. I was like, oh, like why am I gonna practice? Like I ain't got no gigs. But then I was like, all right, well, you know what? Like it's better than just like, rotating between like 3 different screens all day until I can't open my eyes anymore.
Right, and then you realize it's like, yeah, 12 hours have passed and you haven't done anything.
Yeah, exactly. So I've just been trying to like push myself to stay on it and stay productive.
Yeah, trying to keep things normal is like been my goal. So I've been trying to make sure that I play every day, doing a shitload of listening.
Yeah, me too.
Just
what have you listened to lately?
Let's see. Aside from the normal stuff, I've been really digging like the UK shit. So like Kamal Williams, who's basically like it's like he's like a Herbie fanboy in a way. Like he seems to model his sound after Herbie. Some of our mutual friends aren't as impressed, but I think it's fine. I like it. It's something different and new. I don't know. Let's see. What I was going through a Terumasa Hino phase. the Japanese trumpet
Oh
player.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people know him from. He's on. I think the album's called Visitations by
Yep.
Sam Jones. Yeah, a lot of people know him from that record. But he has had a very illustrious career in Japan, and a lot of his shit got added online in the last few months. So I've been checking him out a lot. Yeah, and it turns out that Eddie is a big fan of his. So I was talking to Eddie a couple of weeks ago, and he was showing me a lick, and he was like, "Yeah, Terumasa Hino showed me this back at the Keystone Corner in the 70s." And I was like, "Oh, no way." Like, yeah, I was like, "Oh, no way. I just discovered him. He's
That's
really
bad.
cool."
That's bad.
Yeah. So that was hip. And Eddie's new record, of course. So like obviously the my regular favorites. So like the Black Art Jazz Collective had a record come out. Pelt's on Larry Willis's last record. I was checking that out.
That record is great.
Yeah.
They play Climax.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my tune, man.
Yeah. And then Eddie's new record. And then I don't, just reconnecting with old favorites, man. I was, I think it's the first time I was getting into like some of those classic Blue Notes that it's been forever, since I listened to, or for a while I was like trying to go through a certain musician's like catalog. So like I remember in August, I went through like all of Donald Byrd's records, just like re-listened to all of his shit. Same thing with Kenny Dorham, just going through all these guys and just like listening to all their stuff. And basically, that. What about you? Anything of note?
Yeah, man. I've been listening to pretty much exclusively for the past like couple weeks this record. It's a Johnny Griffin record called The Carry Dancers.
The Carry Dancers, okay.
Yeah, so it's like arrangements. It's all arrangements of like Irish folk songs.
I was wondering if I thought to myself, there's no way he means like Kerry, like Kerry. But
yeah, that's it.
Do.
Yeah, and it's so good, man. It's like just quartet with Johnny Griffin, Ron Carter, Barry Harris, and Jimmy Cobb.
Whoa.
And it's just so good. It's just like they're just like swinging the shit out of these like, Irish folk songs, and just like it's such a good record, and just like makes me so happy.
That's awesome, man. I never even heard of that. I think the only two Johnny Griffin albums I like listen to regularly are The Congregation and the one that has all the sax players on it, Blowing Session, maybe. Yeah. Those are like the two, right? And I think that's like kind of like the classic ones everybody knows. But basically going through like old catalog stuff, trying, because me, I'm always hunting for the next thing. So I definitely got through like a lot of like avant-garde music over the summer that I was like putting off for a while. So like,
you're always
so
you're
like
always into the avant-garde stuff.
Yeah, so like I finally got around to like some like Anthony Braxton shit that I had bought and like had no time for it because these compositions are like each track is an hour long. Hold on, this one right here, Anthony Braxton Quartet. It's 2 CDs. Oh, wow. Yeah, like we're talking 75 minutes, 64 minutes, and it's like they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not albums that you could just like put on in the car. So you have to like
right. You
have time.
Check them out.
Right. So you're like, oh, one day I'll have time to sit down and actually listen to that. Well, only COVID gave me that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did, especially that record had my boy Taylor Hobynum on it. So I wanted to like check his playing out on that. And
nice.
Like when else would I have time to do that unless there was nothing else going on. Like
right.
You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything, Which reminds me, you have yet to meet, of course, because we haven't seen each other forever. You have yet to meet my puppy.
Dude, my puppy I know.
Daisy. She's a fucking drama queen. She's around here somewhere. I'm sure she's gonna like pop in.
I know. I've been seeing like all the pics, and I haven't even seen your house.
I know, man. I know. I was saying to Rose, I got the house, got the wife, got the dog, got the cat, all within quarantine. So we actually adopted our kitten the night we were both sent home from work. Like we
Really?
were, I picked her up after school. The day they were like, oh, you're going to go home for 2 weeks, because that was back when we were trying to flatten the curve. Right.
Right.
So I picked the kitten up right as I was coming home from school, and then never went back to school, you know, and then the COVID era began. So yeah. And then we got Daisy like 2 days after we got married in the backyard. So that's been life over here. I'm actually, I mean, you could see it. Unfortunately, the listeners can't. But this is my new music office, man. Like this is, I've got everything set up in here. So I've been hunkered down in here the last few months. This is, you know, when Jill and I were looking for a house, I said, all I want is an office. You can have the rest of the house to yourself. Just give me a room I could just set up all my shit in. And that's what I got. Yeah, that's what I got. And I got this fucking killing salt marsh behind me. So I've got like the Zen background, and I'm able to like kind of focus. And it's been nice in some regards, because I've been able to like enjoy this little plot of land, you know what I mean? And
totally
kind of focus. You know, I was practicing so much out in the backyard over the summer. And, yeah, and you know, I've said numerous times before on the show, it's like COVID forced me to take the vacation from music that I was never going to take, because you know, especially like how much I hustle.
Oh,
I was never going to stop, you know?
No way. Absolutely, man.
But it's funny. You know, I'm always thinking about you when because I still follow the Juke Bar on Instagram. And for those of you who don't know, see, I'm not affiliated with the Juke Bar anymore, but for 3 years, I had a residency there on Sundays. And it's in the East Village. Played there until they got a new owner, basically.
Good times.
I'm sure they're still a great bar, and I'm sure it's every, you know, and I wish them all the best. But, you know, gigs come and go and stuff when management changes. But every time they pop up on my feed, man, I'm like, oh, man, the Juke Bar gig, the Juke Bar hang.
That was the hang, dude.
Yeah, it was like it was such a
so
like
fun.
Yeah, it was like it was your typical bar gig, but like the owners just didn't care if anybody came. So we would sometimes play for like a decent crowd, and then other times we would play for fucking nobody but the bartender. And they always paid us. They never hassled us.
Like pouring shots.
Right. They never gave us a hard time either way, whether it went well or went bad, you know, bad business wise for them, I guess. And yeah, man, that was such a great
hang. Was such a hang.
Oh, I know. I miss it. It's crazy that the gig was like, it was like a 3-year run, and I think we're coming up on like, it's been 3 years since I played that gig.
Yeah,
it's definitely been like 2.
Well, I think I only did it with you like once or maybe 2 or 3 times, like as a New York City resident.
Okay.
Because like I moved here in September of 2017.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And so I think I only did it like a handful of times after I actually lived here.
I think let's see. I got the calendar up, and I'm trying to, so like my last gig there was 20, looks like November, around this time in 2018 was the last time I played there. So it's been 2 years now since the hang,
yeah,
you know. But yeah, that gig was
like, man, I missed that spot.
Yeah, it was so fun. If it's, you know, I know it's still open, and I you know, wish the new owners all the best. But man, what a vibe it was back in the day when we were playing. We were playing there every Sunday, right? Or every last Sunday of the month.
Yeah, it was like
it was like a monthly gig.
It was like the last Sunday. Yeah, it was like the last Sunday of every month, I think.
Yeah. And that was like one of the, it was funny. It was like a residency that I didn't think much about, but it was just always there. It was like, oh yeah, I got Juke Bar. I got Juke Bar this week or something.
A Juke Bar, baby.
Yeah. And talk about a gig that like always had homies on. Like for a while, we had Aiden O'Connell would play bass with us,
Yeah.
and Josh Walker. It was usually like a cordless quartet gig.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. We had a bunch of different
Lineups.
lineups. Yeah, it was always fun, man. I love doing that gig.
Oh, she's in the office. I'll have to after the interview. I'll have to bring her up to the camera. Daisy,
Oh yes,
she's
yes,
a
please.
pit man. Yeah, but where were some of the places that you were a regular at before COVID and stuff? Because there were a few like hangs I would see. You had like a gig uptown, right?
Well, we had our residency every Saturday night at Penny Joe's.
That's what it was called. Yeah.
By we I mean the MVH organ trio.
Right.
So yeah, that was our hang like every Saturday night. We'd play there and hosted, and so that I miss tremendously.
Yeah. I think
That
that
I haven't really moved past.
group, the group you're talking about, you guys were gonna play Three Sheets right before
Yeah,
shutdown, right?
the
I think
week
I had to
the,
cancel
the
you,
week
right?
it was
Yeah.
the week of shutdown. Yeah, it
Wow.
was like I remember like I had a gig the week before shutdown. I had like a gig on Monday where I played the Gin Mill on Monday on the Upper West Side, and like cool, popping, big
Yeah.
crowd, everything was cool. I had a gig on Tuesday. I don't remember where that was, but I remember that being cool too. And then I remember I had 2 nights at the Lobster, the Flying Lobster in Red Hook.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had 2 nights with my group. And the first night we played to 4 people, and then the second night we played to none.
Wow.
We played 2 sets to an empty club, and then we packed up and left. We didn't even play a third set
Do you
because
remember
like
what
nobody was out.
do you remember what date that was?
It must have been. It was like I want to say it was like the 13th of March or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right because
Yeah, it was
so
like whatever that week was, because then we played Penny Joe's that Saturday after, and
wow.
then that Sunday that was it.
So the weekend, yeah, that is that weekend, because leading up to that, I was going to work from Thursday through Sunday. I remember because my last gig was March 8th, and I remember thinking, all right, I got a couple of days off, and then I got this marathon weekend coming up, starting on Thursday the 12th, and then boom, I was just going to be playing every day until the next week, and they all got canceled like at the same time.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, oh, this is fucking crazy. And then I think that following Tuesday was supposed to be Three Sheets.
Yeah, it
I
was.
remember
It
saying,
was.
I'm like, look, Three
The,
Sheets.
se-
Like,
the, the
yeah,
17th, I think. March 17th, I think
yeah,
was the date.
that sounds about right. Yeah,
That
and, yeah,
Three
that's
Sheets was supposed.
oh, there you are.
Oh
We
yeah,
lost you a little bit.
Oh, am I still here?
Yep, you're still here. What were you saying?
Okay. I was saying like, yeah, well, I remember that weekend, like I had the rest of the year like booked,
Yeah.
like solid through December, and I had it all canceled in like 3 days.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had about 5 or 6 residencies myself, and then the Underground had 5 shows that happened every week, and all of them canceled like at once, and it was just
Yeah,
like
it
one
was.
after another. It was crazy, man. It was super scary,
Yeah,
and
my head was spinning, man.
yeah.
I
And
was like,
I've only been in school. I've been in the school building only 3 times since that March 12th night that they sent
really?
us
So it's
home.
been
Yeah.
all. So you've been doing mostly all remote.
We've been all remote the entire time. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
And my prediction is that we will never go back into the building. Like, this is the year of remote
Yeah,
teaching. Because
definitely.
everybody's going remote until after like mid-January. I don't think we're ever
Yeah.
going back. and you know
Oh.
what, it's just, it is what it is, man, and it's too fucking risky, and you know, and it's just not worth
Yeah.
it, you know. But it sucks, dude. It's like the COVID, the
Yeah,
COVID
it does suck.
fatigue. The COVID fatigue is definitely like strong. Like I find that
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more moodier. You know, it's like it's
Yeah, no, it's
sometimes you're
like,
just in like a shit mood, you know, and it's like because you miss everything.
yeah. I know. Like, I feel like at first everyone was like, "Oh, okay, well, like, let's like stay home and like bake some bread and like this will be over in a couple weeks."
Right. Yeah. It was only supposed to be a couple weeks, and then those couple weeks turned into the year.
Good.
Yeah. And you know, yeah, it'll let the
Yeah,
pup
and
out.
now it's like, oh my God, we're coming up on a year of this.
Yeah, I think somewhere on Facebook I was invited to COVID's first birthday, which I guess is like coming up. Like technically, its first
Oh
birthday's in
no.
December. Yeah, uh,
Ugh.
yeah, and it's like,
Yeah, it's right because I remember like we started.
yeah,
Mm,
shit started. Yeah, shit started like in late December, or December, late 2019 is when it all started. And then before you
yeah,
know
that's
it,
right. I
boom. Yeah,
remember, and then
yeah,
there was like some buzz about it,
right.
and then
But what, you know, what else? All right, so you know, all the lamenting aside, you got any you got any projects you're looking forward to other than this new record that you make sure you let me know about this record that's coming out that you just did. But are there any other projects on the horizon that you're gonna do?
do have a couple things in the works right now. I'm actually not super ready to announce anything officially yet.
Mm,
Um, because some of it is kind of is still brewing, but
gotcha.
there are things, like after just we just did this week in this album in California. That was kind of like it was like, we wanted to do the album, we wanted to do the gigs, but it was also like, a predecessor to see if like, this is gonna be something viable that, we want to continue with, and it proved to be that it definitely is. So
Oh, good.
we got some things brewing with that group that
Oh, that's awesome.
hopefully, yeah, that hopefully, we're still kind of working things out logistically and kind of that kind of thing. So I don't really, I'm kind of sworn to secrecy
Okay. Okay.
on a couple things, how it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lock and
But
key.
you know, all of you listening, or want to hit me on Instagram at Eric Hallenbeck Drums and stay up to date.
Oh yeah. You're very active on social media, and you're going to be playing in the park as long as you can, right?
Yep, as
So
long as I can. Usually,
yeah,
if anyone's in New York City, usually like Saturdays and Sundays from.
yeah. I was just going to say, like, let us know where can people find you?
Yeah, like Washington Square Park. Usually Saturdays and Sundays from around 10 a.m. to whenever. Just kind of go as long as we can, and people are always welcome to come sit in. Like a lot of our friends, come by and like play drums, play some bass, like bring your horns, like,
Yeah.
it's a great hang. It's a lot of fun. Like bring drinks and food, and you can kind of hang out. But I'm always around. And then like I've been doing some gigs, but usually they're all kind of last minute, kind of stuff that is popping up around the city. So I usually am always posting that stuff on Instagram, like on on my story or on Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's the best kind of way to stay up to date. I've been trying to post a lot more content. Like I just posted the concert that we did at the Merc in Temecula, California, is on YouTube now.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, beautifully recorded audio and video concert of a portion of the band that I was playing with. There, it's a great it's a quartet with Mikey Migliore playing bass, Reed Miller playing guitar, Ian Harland playing vibraphone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's really, we got like a bunch of original music, like some standards. And I just got around to watching the whole thing the other day, and it came out really nicely.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I would love for people to go and check that out. It's just, on the Jazz the Merc, MERC, YouTube channel, and I think I also shared the link on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so please check that out.
For sure. I'm definitely gonna put it on my my YouTube watch later list, which because of COVID, I was able to shave down. I had something like 500 videos in my watch later. No, I'm dead serious.
Wow.
I am a fucking pack rat when it comes to YouTube videos. I will just hit watch later. And there's shit, man, I totally forgot that I even put there. And it's like I'm too bad it doesn't like timestamp when you hit watch later.
Right.
Because like we're talking about shit going back 5-6 years probably at the beginning of YouTube. But I will I will definitely check that out, man, because it's been too long, dude. Like we were playing. We would find ourselves playing together like once every couple of months, It was just like always like a little reunion and stuff. But now it's been over a year, Yeah. So, but hopefully in 2021 we'll rectify that.
I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, like there's also Dan Liparini's record just came out.
Oh yeah, we had Dan on. Dan was on the first episode
like a month ago. Oh, nice. Yeah. And so, I'm super like honored to be on that. We recorded that in August of 2019. And I also did a video, it's like a pre-recorded live stream concert from Parkville Sounds in Hartford with Dan Liparini and Matt DeWanzik trio. And that's up on YouTube.
Nice.
You can find that. So I've been, getting out some halfway decent content. I've been just like posting some more like drum related stuff like on my Instagram. That you can check out. So there's some stuff.
We can find Eric Hallenbeck on the internet if we look for him.
Yes, you can. For better or for worse.
Always for better. Well, man, it's been awesome having you on the show. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. This has been great, and it's been so nice to catch up with you.
Yeah, man, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to get to do this, and this podcast is a great thing. I've been loving checking out the episodes. So,
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, this came kind of by chance, and it turned into my COVID project. So
yeah, no, I've always wanted to like start a podcast, but I just feel like I don't want to be like another like white dude from New York that starts a podcast in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted the Underground to have a podcast. I didn't think I'd be the one that was actually going to do it, but
I hear you.
Here we are. So, but anyway, buddy, I love you. Be
love
safe.
You, bro.
Have a best to you and your family. Tell them I said hi, and I'll catch you. We'll have you back on the show.
I can't wait to come back.
I got to have some podcast regulars, and we'll get you on again.
Awesome, man.
All right, man. Thanks so much for coming by.
You got it, bud.
Yeah, so episode 9 in the bag. Pretty impressed with myself, if I do say so, because I did 2 episodes today. It's the little things, and we always got to keep the bar low so it feels like we're super productive, especially when we're putting on a one-man show such as a podcast. But no, in all seriousness, I'm so glad Eric can drop by, and I'm really happy that we could have a conversation on the show, and we'll get Eric back soon enough. What else is going on? Don't forget the Yale partnership with the NHJU has buskers going on this weekend. So if you're downtown, or if you have time to go downtown, check out some musicians playing Christmas tunes and standards and medleys and all kinds of stuff. That happens 12 to 4 Saturday and Sunday, featuring various horn players associated with the New Haven Jazz Underground. And I think that will do it for today. So until next time, This has been Mr. Millennial's Revenge. I'm your host, Nick DeMaria. This is a production of the New Haven Jazz Underground. Thank you so much for listening. And please be safe. Please take COVID seriously, as I cannot stress enough and over again. We're in this together, literally, and I had to learn the hard way, I guess. So anyway, happy December, and see you at the next episode. All right, thanks so much. Take care.